Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Again, Alexander Rossi and Christian Lundgaard will both join us here in a matter of moments. For now, though, we are joined by the now, once again, points leader in the NTT INDYCAR Series, Will Power, driver of the Verizon Team Penske Chevrolet, his 92nd career podium today, which ties him with Dario Franchitti for 7th all-time. 7th podium of the season, and again retakes the points lead. He now has a 9-point advantage over Marcus Ericsson. Again, congratulations, another podium. You got the points lead again, and you got to feel pretty good coming out of here.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, considering the start of the race, yep, great recovery, man. Great recovery. It's amazing some of the runs we've had this year, but yep, just kept my head and did what I could in the situation. I had to get a big fuel number and go as fast as I can, and very good day for the team all around.
Outside of Iowa and here, I know you were begging for starts of races up front because it didn't happen there for a while, where you didn't have to make up big ground, maybe like you did at Mid-Ohio, and so far so good these last 3 races when it comes to that. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, it's always hard starting 4th or the outside row at this track. You get I don't know. You get freight trained. So it's tough going into one, but yeah, we didn't make the most of that, but we definitely made the most of the rest of the race.
Final restart and all that, or at least towards the end, did you have anything for Rossi?
No, not with the fuel number I had to get. It was
fuel numbers, yeah.
Yeah, I had to get a big fuel number because we pitted 5 laps before everyone.
Yep. And playing catch up a little bit after that, right? Because chasing the fuel.
Yeah, pretty much all the way to the end, we were on a number that was definitely holding us back. We had definitely a lot of pace in hand.
We welcome all of you joining us on Zoom. We'll get to your questions here in a matter of moments. If you have a question, hit the virtual raised hand button. We'll get to you in just a second. Let's begin, though, with questions in person. We have a standing microphone located to your left. Nate Ryan. You're looking anxious. All right.
Sorry, I just didn't know if they were
It's all good.
first.
Thanks, brother.
I wanted to defer to Kurt Cavan, of course. Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. So, Will, you kind of just said you kind of made what you had today, and you kind of referenced it in your post-race interview that you've been playing the long game all season. Are you pleased with sort of how the long game has gotten you to the points lead with 4 races to go?
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's not necessarily the long game, but it's just that sort of attitude switch where, you know, these races are long, the season's long, and you got to make the most of every situation, even if you're fighting for like 12th. You know, that's your day to finish 12th. Well, finish 12th, not 24th. So it's just, yeah, it's certainly working very well.
But you also kind of referenced outside that there's a point at which it switches now in the last 4 races. Do you have to sort of race points for a week or 2 here now looked at differently for Portland and Laguna, or how do you look at the rest of the way?
That totally depends on the situation, where you qualify, who's in front of you, where you're running, and where the guys that you are fighting or you believe will be the people that the drivers that you have to fight at the end. So it becomes a little more obvious with 3 to go. You know, in the next couple of races, you're going to know, like, okay, this is definitely the guys that we're racing. We've got to cover them on strategies and such. So yeah, it's still not completely clear. A lot of guys still clustered up, and you know, I think there's probably still 5 guys right in the game. So yeah, still a long way to go.
Pato told us Thursday that he feels like it's going to go down to Laguna, obviously, but like with 5 guys.
Yeah.
Do you expect the same thing? Are you keeping your eye on anybody in particular, or you just feel like what you just said, it's going to be 5 guys all the way to the end?
I mean, that's impossible to predict, but you know, it's still pretty close right now. It will always go. It feels like it's always going to go down the last race. I expect to be having to fight at Laguna, and yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Impossible to predict in this series. There's just too many fast guys, good teams, good drivers, everything. It's just try pick a winner each week and try pick a pole sitter. Impossible.
Just 46 points separated the top 5 right now.
Yeah.
As an illustration of how tight it is. Bruce Martin from Speed Sport.
It's been a while since you've been this deep into the season as the points leader.
Yeah.
Happened a lot early in your career. Do you think that experience is beneficial to you to know what it takes to get through the day-to-day pressure that's going to come with that?
Absolutely. So different to what it was back then. Just know the game so well. Mentally, just miles ahead mentally in every respect than I was back then. So, yeah, just a tremendous amount of experience in this series.
And I also hate to use the term wild card, but because of its unpredictable nature,
Yeah.
do you see next week's race at Nashville as being one of the ones that could really, cause somebody to go over the cliff?
Yeah, I hope no one does go over the bridge, but it's it could be like Toronto, where it can be an absolute crazy race, but it could also be very green. You just can't predict. You don't know. We don't know. Obviously, last year, with track blockages, this sort of thing, it was pretty crazy. But sometimes a race gets into a flow and it goes. But honestly, I think if it goes yellow, it's going to breed more yellows for sure. It's just, it's when people go for the big moves. So, we'll see what happens.
And finally, what was it like racing behind the Great Dane today?
It was, I could only see him as a dot in the distance. He took off. He's too fast.
Thank you.
And obviously joined by Christian Lundgaard, driver the number 30, Shield Cleansers, Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing, Honda. Best career finish, first podium. We were just talking about 92 career podiums for that guy to your right. You pick up your first at the NTT INDYCAR Series today. Congratulations. How's this feel?
Thank you. No, it feels amazing. I think the best feeling right now is that the team really deserves it. They've worked super hard, and we've had such a struggling beginning to the season. And I think coming to Toronto was when things started to change. We saw sort of a streak where we started to perform better. Even Road America, Mid-Ohio was there. We were on the edge of top 10. And to come here and, finish second, I think the team deserves every bit of it. I'm just a guy doing my job, really. I want to win, so I try as best as I can every event.
A lot of us remember when you showed up here, sight unseen, for your first Grand Prix on the road course. You qualified fourth. Is there something about this race course that you
Must
like?
be. I'm not going to lie, I did qualify the exact same car and race the exact same car, so that car seems to work, obviously. No, I think Rossi and Herder did seem to have some more power down than we did today, and I think that's what killed our rear tires, and they were just able to take off. And as soon as they've taken off, we're just managing the gap. So I think it was looking like a P3 today, but ended up finishing P2, so I'm just obviously super happy for the team.
Tremendous afternoon. Congratulations. More questions? Chris, go ahead.
Christian, yesterday or earlier in this weekend, you told me that it was important to execute well, especially at this track, especially after what happened at Iowa. How critical was this weekend for getting everything going for the rest of the season, and especially with Rookie of the Year, because you're still leading David and everybody else in that standing, in that battle?
I mean, it surely helped in the Rookie Championship for sure. But no, I mean, this is exactly what I meant. We needed to execute the weekend. We knew coming into this weekend that this was the track we were going to be at least the most competitive at, together with perhaps Toronto, where we ended up being very competitive. But we came into this event and knowing we were going to have a car that was able to finish in the good end of top 10. So I mean, I wouldn't say we overachieved, but we for sure got everything out of the package we had. It's a bit unfortunate that Jack and Graham weren't able to get further in qualifying, because I think for sure they had a car that was able to go further as well. But for me to get it done, it just proves that the car was there, and that, which is why I really feel like the team deserves this podium, and I hope there's more to come.
Graham started 17th and gained 10 spots. Jack's won here on the road course. How much have they helped you getting a couple of other things fixed up just right to be able to get second place here?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned before, the car I raced today was my qualifying car from last year. So that specific car is a car I developed myself with absolutely no knowledge. I came in last year and just qualified this car, and it seemed to be quick. So, keeping that car for this year, I think was a benefit for us and for me myself, knowing the car very well. We have tried to bring it to other tracks and it didn't seem to work, so that's something we need to figure out.
And Will, you and Pato and Sato both pitted underneath that first yellow.
Yeah.
You're here in third. Pato finished 12th, and Sato was 15th. What was the major differentiator there? Was it tire strategy, or was it something else that worked well for you?
I think it was our pace on the fuel mileage we had to get. Definitely were able to make some hay during the just getting big numbers that we had to get. And we had a great car. Car was really fast. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jack Binion, go ahead, sir.
Well, it seems like something wild happens to you pretty much every other race this season, whether it be qualifying or in the race, and you're able to bounce back from that so well. Just wondered if it's kind of crept into your mind yet that you feel like the favourite in the championship based off that, because you're able to come back from some of these crazy situations.
But yeah, I mean, to this point, we've had a fantastic year. Obviously, leading the points right now, and just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I know the game so well, been in it so long, so we have great potential to win the championship, but there's 4 other guys that also do, so it's going to be a hard fight to the end, and I'm enjoying it. I really am.
Christian, can you talk a little bit about your development as a driver since you've come over here? I know you were, obviously competed in a lot of different support championships in Europe and internationally, and then you've come over here and obviously taken to it very quickly with your performance last season. How have you developed as a driver since you've come into IndyCar with this new car, new championship, new atmosphere, I guess, as well?
Yeah, one thing that I'm a little annoyed about is that every time race day comes, Graham always seems to find a way to finish ahead. Didn't happen today, luckily. But no, honestly, I mean, Graham's helped me massively, understanding how much you can push the tires. He's extremely good on the long run. Making the tires last, making the fuel last, and just being competitive. And even in a car that might not be competitive enough to be there. We've had some good results. So as a team, the drivers work very well together. I'm very pleased to have Jack and Graham by my side and helping me. But it's also good for the team that we now have a podium, because I think just for the future it's going to be a massive confidence boost for everyone, to keep digging. This is the right path. We're going in the right direction. And also for the 2 other drivers, Jack and Graham, like you said, Graham had a good race today, but he always have a good race. We just need to get that qualifying car further up, and having the first Fast 6 of the season this weekend, we need to keep digging. The 2 other cars had a little more potential, made mistakes, didn't push hard enough in the first lap. We need to eliminate those issues and get on with it.
Obviously joined by the Gallagher Grand Prix champion as well. We welcome in the driver of the number 27 Napa Autoports Honda, AutoNation Honda for Rahal Letterman, or check that, Andretti Autosport. Congratulations, Alexander Rossi. I'm sure you know the numbers. I'm going to throw them out there anyway. First win in some 49 starts, right? Road America in 2019. We added up the days. 1,133 days ago. That was the last time you won. 8th career win, 4th driver as well to win on the road course here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the Indianapolis 500. Of course, Will Power being the other one, along with Simon Pagenaud and Scott Dixon. Finally, back in victory lane. How's it feel?
Yeah, it's just it's a lot of relief, I think, is the main word. It's we've had some race wins that we've thrown away for sure, and we've had some weekends where we've just kind of not had the pace, and for whatever reason. But I think that we knew things were trending in a good direction this year, and we had a solid test here a month or so ago, and I think the one constant has been just the mental strength of the whole team. It's as challenging as it is for me. It's also hard for them, right? They go in every day and work their butts off, and when they don't get results, it's hard for them as well. So I think that as a unit, that's one of our strengths, is being able to continue to just push forward. So it's a big team win, and a big thank you to the whole organization. Obviously, the karts were fast, and it sucks what happened to Colton, but I've had my share of things. It's just it comes full circle, I guess, sometimes. So it's good to be up here.
It builds up, and you just get like all of it in one year.
Well, yeah.
just luck the whole time.
Yeah.
Part of the game.
About years of my
More from Alex here in a second. If you have follow-ups for either Will or Christian, let's go that direction first. It would be tremendous. Go ahead.
Will, when you're a couple laps in and you're in 16th, just what's going through your mind? What's your approach in a situation like that?
Well, at that point, you're starting to think of what can we do, you know, if there's an alternate strategy. Then the yellow comes and you're absolutely like, all right, you know, I think the guys understand, and we talked about before the race, like we'll pit, try and make it on 2 more stops from there. Yeah, big fuel number. And that was, yeah, great call. Yeah, never got upset or just, yep, that's what it is. That's how it rolls in this series. Just kept going.
And then obviously you knew you had a chance to take over first place of the standings. Is that something on your mind during the race? Is it something you try not to think about? What's your perspective on that?
You're just focusing on the race. You know, you are aware of the championship contenders if you're around one, or you do understand, like, if there's one, someone you're racing behind you that you're competing for the championship, you would definitely do your absolute best to keep that, to keep him behind. But if it's someone else, you got to save big fuel that you may not fight him as hard. Yeah.
Thanks.
Tim, go ahead.
Can I ask Will one and then ask Alex one?
Sure.
Is that the protocol?
You have the microphone. Go ahead.
No.
Hey, Will, you talked a while ago about seeing a dot in front of you, ahead of you, as opposed to maybe getting up on somebody's tailpipe. But
Yeah.
when did that settle into your brain that third is going to be as best as you can do today?
But,
And how do you actually settle into your brain into your brain?
well, when it all reset and all those guys pit, I had to pit before it went yellow. When we reset, and then it's okay, we don't have to get as big a fuel number now, and we're in P3, so if I can finish P3, that's a great day.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
And for Alex, you kind of touched on this a minute ago, but do you feel like a weight has been lifted? What is the feeling you have? Because we've all seen your close calls, et cetera, pitfalls over the last 3 years, but what is that sense?
Yeah, I
Of
mean,
weight.
relief, right? Like I don't know how else to describe it. Like it's human nature to start to question things when it continually doesn't kind of fall your way, and you just have to remember that you've done it before, like you can do it again type thing. And so it's just nice to kind of reestablish that. And this sport is so much about, you're as good as your last race. It doesn't matter who you are. You have to go out there every weekend and kind of reprove yourself. So, it's nice to kind of be back up there, but we have another one in 5 days, 6 days. So it all resets again.
Thank you.
Yep, you got it. Nate?
I have one for Christian real quick, then Alex.
Perfect.
So, Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Christian, where is your, I guess I know where. When is your Las Vegas birthday celebration going to take place?
It's straight after Laguna Seca, yeah.
I'm actually gonna be there for a bachelor party.
So Shield Cleansers gave me a trip to Las Vegas as a birthday present because
We all
it was
invited.
my 21st birthday last Saturday. Are you coming? All of you are
Well,
coming.
you should do it around when the Super Nationals are on. Vegas, the kart race.
It is. It's straight Laguna, Vegas. I'll see
Oh,
Alex
straight
there.
Laguna to Vegas. Yeah, man. We're all
Should we
in.
just invite the whole grid?
The whole grid.
Yeah.
Well,
I know
be a big
Graham.
crowd.
I know Graham isn't coming because he's got his second on the way that week. So
Oh, okay. But you could get most of the grid.
yeah, I won't tell you where I'll be staying then. But yeah, I'm going. Yeah.
Okay. Did you ask for this?
Sorry?
Did you ask them, or is this a surprise?
No, so that was actually just a pure present. They brought me to the Kentucky Derby and they thought I liked it, which I did. So they thought, why not try Vegas?
Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
It's going to be an expensive trip because it's.
Are they paying for all of it?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I hope so. I got to ask him, yeah.
Get like a nice suite. Like 6-bedroom.
Gambling.
Yeah, 6-bedroom.
Yeah.
Be a good time.
Yeah, I could ask more, but I feel like I should move on. Alex, I asked you this on Wednesday, so I'll just try to frame it in a new way. But you've won the Indy 500 with Andretti. You've won several times with them. You contended for championships. How does it feel to get this win before you exit?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a pretty sad story if we weren't able to. That's not the intent. That's not the goal, right? Because I'm not really thinking about 23. Like you're thinking about just what you can still accomplish in 2022. But yes, I'm happy that we don't have to have that conversation of like, oh well, it's been cool. Too bad we couldn't win in 4 years, whatever, right? So I'm glad we don't have to have that conversation. But yeah, I mean, I I've had the majority of the same group of guys. It's probably 70% of the same group of guys since 2017. As I said before, it's been hard for them as well. So it's great to as a unit and as a group on the 27 car to kind of get this behind us, and hopefully we can have a pretty strong run at the end of the year.
And the second part of that would be for 23, as you arrive with your new team, are you glad that now we're not going to be asking you these questions in January about when the streak's going to end?
Yeah, no, it's great to start the clock over, I guess, of you guys counting.
Tomorrow's day one.
1,000 days, cool. Yeah, awesome.
Don't worry, I've been to it many times.
Will, I wouldn't make all the plans, though, because if you win the championship, you might be busy the week after Laguna.
No, but that's what I was thinking. You win the championship, then you definitely go to
He's
Vegas.
definitely going to Vegas then.
Is that right?
Kidnap them.
We're going to move everything to the Loongard party in
Yeah.
Vegas. All right, fair enough. Anything else for Will or Christian?
I have one last one for Will.
Go ahead, great.
Will, this maturation process, you're more settled, you keep talking about experience. How much of that is on the track and also off the track? Bo's getting a little older.
Yeah.
The family man thing.
Yeah, it is on both sides. I mean, you are simply, it feels like the older you get, the more relaxed you get. Just understand how life is. And life is not easy. It doesn't flow that well. Like you expect when you're younger that everything should just go right. But it simply just never does. And that's just the way it is. And you get more relaxed about that.
Do you enjoy moments like this a little bit more as you get older?
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm loving the racing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a privilege to feel nervous before a race because there's going to be a time where you don't get to do that.
That's
for,
right.
Decades. So some people never get to do that. So,
And you get to go into full dad mode, so.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right, we will cut second and third loose. Congratulations, Will Power and Christian Lundgaard as well. Congratulations. You guys are good to go.
Good job, man. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
First podium and 92nd podium. All right, more questions for Alexander Rossi. We will continue with Jenna Fryer from the Associated Press.
See you Tuesday.
Thanks.
Thanks, man. Thank
Hey,
you.
Alex, congratulations. You scored your first win here. You didn't really know anything about this place or what it meant, and now you end this long streak. You know more about this place. What are your feelings about Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard one to put into words. Every time I come here, I just appreciate it more and more, whether it's for an event. I mean, obviously the 500, but whether it's this event, a sponsorship thing, a media thing, giving laps around the track, like it's just it's an amazing place for us. And for me, being in my 7th season in the series and knowing what it means to the NTT INDYCAR Series as well. Yeah, I mean, I kind of was hoping on the Road America weekend for it to kind of start and end this drought or whatever there, but to actually end it here is actually kind of a cooler story. So to be able to go up on the lift with the guys and let them experience that, because that didn't exist in 2016, and there's a lot of special things about this place, and the fan turnout here for us as IndyCar drivers is always amazing, and seeing everyone with the merch and the autograph session, it's a very special thing today for sure.
Does winning on the road course feel the same as winning on the oval?
No, not quite, but it's still an awesome thing. Like I got another ring, which I didn't know you got a ring for this event, so that's cool. And it's just your picture will get to be on the pagoda going into May next year, which is great. Unless they change that, which will piss me off. I'll just put my own picture up. But no, I mean, there's so many little things that come with winning at Indy that you don't get at another event. So it is more special than other races, but no, it's still a far ways behind the oval.
After that, we'll make sure you stay up there for next year.
Thanks, man.
Taken care of. All right, go ahead.
Alex, it looked like there was a good amount of time where it was going to be you and Colton duking it out for the win. Were you prepared for that? Do you think you still would have been here as the winner if Colton continued on?
I mean, maybe. I think Colton, Christian, and I were definitely like the class of the field in terms of pace. Our first set of tires was pretty miserable, actually, and which was strange because when we put on the used reds, which in theory should be worse, like the car came alive and we started going quite a bit quicker than Colton, and we were closing that gap down. obviously, and he was going to have to run a set of tires that was not good for him in qualifying yesterday. So maybe it would have swung back our direction. I don't know. I mean, he's very hard to beat. Obviously, both of us had pretty much identical race cars, so there wasn't going to be any big separation there. So it would have been a hard fight for sure. It sucks that he had a mechanical. Like, you don't want to see that to a teammate, 100%. A teammate that's a friend as well. It's not fun to watch, but at the same time, we've had our share of sad situations. So it's good to go our way.
Patrick.
TV focused, I think, about 5 laps to go on some smoke coming off the inside of your left rear. Was that just build up off, bouncing off the under tray kind of thing, or?
I'm glad I didn't see that.
My next question was going to be, did they tell you?
Yeah, no, they didn't, which is great. Yeah, no, I mean, I had no idea, so good thing.
Okay, and then we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Being here so much, the having to run so many races here, does that actually make it, and one, more relief? But is that the frustrating part? Is that not being able to knock this off now? Now you can feel like, okay, I can have a decent weekend and just be fine with something else here.
I don't know that I know what you mean.
Taking this, well, let's just put it on the whole season then.
Yep.
Taking this win now, now you check that box.
Yep.
Can you just now be far more relaxed going to the rest of the season?
I mean, I don't know that we've been stressed. I mean, we've had a lot of good runs. It's obviously been in the back of our mind, but no, I don't think it changes anything. I think if anything, we've been kind of chilling since May. As a group. The uncertainty about what I was doing was kind of gone. The performance of the car was good. Everyone was happy, so everything was pretty straightforward. So I think since then, everything's been pretty good. And we were close in Detroit, close in Road America, and there's been some chaos between then. But I think the core incentive and attitude and motivation from the team has stayed the same.
And let's talk about the team just a little bit more. How you talked out on the podium about how happy you were for them. I think you hugged everybody before you even talked to TV. How much does this really mean for the team itself? Is it more for them or more for you?
I think equally both. This one. I mean, it's been hard for all of us. It's been hard for Michael. It's been hard for Rob. I mean, the sponsors. When we started this kind of 3-year journey in 19, like this wasn't the expectation for the past 2.5 years. And so that's been hard on everyone. And I think that it's a nice reward for everyone. Like no one ever quit. No one ever stopped. Oh, Alex is leaving, so who cares anymore? Like that was never a thing. And I'm so appreciative to Michael and all of the engineering staff for kind of continuing to push to give me the best possible equipment. Because I've been in situations in the past where that's not necessarily been the case. And I think that is a testament to them as people and as a race team, and we couldn't be here without them. So yeah, it's a huge one for myself, but definitely for all the 27 guys as well.
Hang on a second, Eric. I just want to mention that the People Ready Force for Good Challenge continues this season in the NTT INDYCAR Series. So with the win, $10,000 split between yourself, the team, and your favorite charity. And my understanding is it's Leilani May Horse Rescue. Is that correct? Your favorite charity?
That and the Dry Pink thing.
Well, you can do that too.
Yes.
So just talk a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about both those?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously AutoNation, the Dry Pink campaign is, raising funds for cancer research. That's a huge thing for them, and they've raised an incredible amount of money over the years. And motorsports is just a small arm of what they do to represent that Dry Pink campaign. And then, I grew up with horses, and my mom was always into horses and rode horses, and I just love animals. So a friend of mine kind of introduced me to this horse rescue down in Charlotte, and they're doing a great thing as a private kind of foundation, and want to definitely support them in any way I can.
Very cool. So a good chunk of money going to both of those organizations. That's awesome. Yep. Okay, Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, piggybacking off of Patrick's first question, when you hear drivers talk about go winless droughts, you get towards the end of a race or winning, do you start feeling like, oh no, what can go wrong? Or am I feeling this? Or am I feeling that? Do you play a mental game at all towards the end of this?
No, I mean, I was getting pretty pissy, stressy with the 4-car there. It's not just me. I mean, there's a lot of guys in this series that have had issues with coming down to the end of the race, and lap cars are using overtake to stay in front, and it's just very frustrating. So that was the only thing, because I saw my lead got cut in half, and we burned 60% of the overtake we had left to try and get around a car that is in last. So that's very upsetting. So that was the only thing I was stressed about. But once we were able to kind of deal with that, I think the pace of our car was still superior. So it was just about there, finishing the last 7 or 8 laps of the race.
A couple more questions, and we'll take a couple off Zoom. Jack, go ahead.
That thing you talk about difficult to pass back markers. How difficult was it, and how frustrating for you at the end of the race?
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I get it on ovals a little bit, because you want to try and stay on the lead lap to hopefully catch a yellow, so that you can, because you don't want to lose a lap on an oval. Because on an oval, theoretically, if you get that yellow and you can come back to the back of the grid, you can, in theory, kind of make your way forward again if you have a good car. On a road course, you're not going to restart in 24th and drive your way to a position. Like, that just doesn't exist. So it's very frustrating to compromise someone's day for no good reason. And we talked about that. I mean, I'm not the only one. Like I said, I'm not the only one that deals with it. And I'm not saying that person doesn't have a right to fight for their lead lap, but when they're able to use overtake to defend you, I just think that we're missing something as a series. Like, we need to implement a rule where if you're a lap down, or you're going a lap down, you shouldn't be able to use overtake to defend the leader. That's all.
That sounds like an off-season discussion.
For sure.
For sure. All right. Chris.
Alex, you've battled against many veteran drivers for wins in the IndyCar Series over the last 5, 6 years you've been here. Is there anything different mentally that goes through your head when you've got someone that you've never fought against for a race win behind you, 2, 3, 4 seconds back, or as laps wind down?
No, not really. Everyone in this series is good enough to go out there and win a race. So you got to treat them as if it's Scott or Joseph or Will, right? Like, it doesn't matter. You can't take anything for granted. So, he made sure that he kept the pressure on all race. Like, we were a fast car, and, he kept the gap between 2 and 4 seconds. So a huge hats off to Christian and RLL and the effort that they did, and to get a Honda 1-2 is pretty cool.
Thanks.
All right, let's take just 2 off of Zoom. We'll begin with Ben Johnson. Hey, Ben.
Hey, Dave. Thanks very much. Hey, Alex. Congratulations on today's win. Fantastic result for both yourself and the team. How much momentum does that give you going into the final stretch of the season? But also, what track are you most looking forward to in the final couple of races of the year?
All of them except Gateway.
Okay.
Like, I think we'll be very strong in Nashville.
Right.
And Portland and Laguna for sure. So I don't think that's even a question. Gateway, I hope we can pull something out. But yeah, I mean, it is good momentum. It's great to kind of put this whole thing behind us and just go out there and focus on finishing off the year as strong as we can.
Excellent. Well, congratulations and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks.
And Rob, thanks, Ben. Rob Tiongson, you're next on deck. Go ahead.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, congratulations, Alexander, on this win. Obviously your tenure at Andretti Autosport's coming to a close. I know it's got a few more races left, but what's your favorite memory or top 2 favorite memories of the team?
That's a memory. Mid-Ohio is certainly a memory. I mean, obviously the 500. Like, I can't not. I mean, that's far and above number 1. I don't know. I mean, I was so lucky for so many years to drive with Ryan and Marco, and they became such good friends of mine and people that I rely on in my personal and professional life, both those guys. So I think that those relationships, the relationship with Michael and Rob Edwards and my engineer Jeremy, like those are things I'll have with me for the rest of my life, which is very special. And I'm grateful to them for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Unless there's a follow-up here in person, we will wrap things up. Stand by. But congratulations. Don't go anywhere. We got one thing for you. Maybe 2 things. Congratulations, Alexander Rossi, the Napa Auto Parts Auto Nation Honda for Andretti Autosport, winning the Gallagher Grand Prix.
No, wait, 3 things.
No, wait, 3. Unless you want 3.